Hey, what's up, guys? I'm your host Joy, and welcome to this new color grading video. In this video, I will be color grading this footage from Red V Raptor. You can just download this footage from Red Digital Cinema. Go to Google and search for Red footage, and the first option which you get, I'm currently using this footage right here, which is 4.49 GB. So once you download the footage, you can import it in your timeline. And to follow along, I have two monitors set up currently. So if you want to see full screen version on my left side monitor, then what you can do here is that you can just click on the link below and it will take you to another YouTube video. I'm going to edit this simultaneously, so you can, if you have a separate monitor, you can just play that footage side by side, and that way you can understand what is going on in full screen. Okay, let's get started. First of all, we need to find a look. Okay, whenever you are trying to create a look, you just need to find what suits the most here. Okay, so what you can do here is that for reference and stuff, you can go to Pinterest. This is a free version. Okay, if you want to search color palettes and stuff for free, then you can just go to Pinterest and you can type in surfing, so you get a lot of color palettes here. Okay, so the color palette which you like the most, just select that and download it. So I will be selecting this, and I will be somewhat selecting this color palette as well. Okay, so I have downloaded those two images. If you want something premium and paid version, then you can definitely try Shotdeck. So coming back to this video, now I have two references. I'll bring in both of my reference images, place it in the timeline. Now what I will do here is that I will go to the gallery tab. Now I will grab a still of these two. Okay, now these two are in my gallery. Let's pause on a hero frame. Okay, I can't like this, so we will try to color grade from this point only. So this is our hero shot. First of all, I separate my primary, secondaries and finishing nodes in different rows. So first row is for the primaries, then the second rows will be for secondaries and other adjustments, and then the last row will be for finishing stuff. I will leave the first node as it is because this is basically for noise reduction. Then I will do all the primary adjustment here, and in this one I will do the color balancing. In the second row, this will be your adjustment 1. I try to create different layers, so this will be your layer 1 and layer 2, and after that I will be naming this node adjustment 2. Now this will be your focus node. Then we will create an outside node for the vignette, then any type of effects you want to put here, like halation or something like that, and the final node will be film grain. Before film grain, there will be another node. I will name this film LUT. We don't need this one. Okay, so now let's start color grading. So we will put up the image side by side. You can just click on this image wipe and it will create side by side image. I will be going to my waveforms. You can just unlock it from this dock and place it somewhere around here. I'll put the vector scope on this side frame. Okay, currently we are looking at the waveform. You can see image which we are targeting is is of a higher contrast. So what we can do here in the primaries, we can just increase the contrast a little bit. After doing so, you can see our highlights are quite burning. Okay, so we can go to the HDR tab and decrease the light. So as we decrease the light, you can see there is a lot of details coming out in this highlights. And again, we can increase the gain here. We can increase the black levels here because this guy is getting too much dark. So what we can do here is go to the HDR tab and increase the dark. So you can see here that a little bit of information we are getting here. Okay, yes, so that is how you bring out the information there. After increasing the contrast, I will increase and decrease the pivot point to see which works best. For me, I am focusing on our subject, which is here. Okay, so if we move the pivot, then you can see it is getting a bit dark. I don't want it to be dark that much. I want it to be somewhat around this much is fine to me. Okay, but now you can see here the highlights are getting burned. So I will go to the HDR tab again and reduce the light a bit. Okay, you can reduce the highlights also and increase the lights, and you have to see which works best for you. If we increase the highlights, you can see here that we are getting more details in this highlights. Okay, and I will be reducing the light a bit. Okay, so you can see here we brought so much detail to the image just by doing the primary adjustments here. Moving on to our next step, which is color balance. Well, I don't think there is a problem with the color balance, but like I can see a bit of like blue in the shadows. So what I will do here is that I can reduce the blue in the shadows by pushing it to the opposite side. You can see here, you can see in this point, you can see like we are actually targeting the blues and reducing the blues a little bit. Okay, so I will reduce the exposure a bit and then the saturation a bit, so that way like you can see here the difference. So we neutralized the shadows in this, and I think the whites are whites because in the vector scope you can see the white point is exactly at the center. I'm happy with the color balancing. Okay, but now you can see here that the bluish tone just vanished and we are left with some greenish, like gunky green here. We can fix this just by like only targeting the shadow part. For that you just need to go to the qualifiers and like turn on your highlights, and then slowly you can reduce the high towards the low, and you can see which of the images is getting targeted here. You can slowly slide it down and you can see which area should be targeted in the image, and reducing the saturation. Okay, so that way you are not affecting all of those blue areas right there. Now I will increase the high soft a little bit and then decrease the high here. Okay, and then increase the denoise. Okay, so that is good enough. So you can see here it brings some depth to our character as well. You can see here without affecting too much of this bluish water. What I like to do at this point is that after doing all your like primary color grades, then you can place in your LUT. You can go into film look and use Kotak D65. Well, I don't think that we need a LUT right now, so I won't be using LUT in this tutorial. After that, what you can see here is that we have a crystal like bluish tone in the water. In our layer node, we will name the bottom layer our character, and this will be the water. In the character, we will try and select our character right here. In a qualifier, just grab our character and turn on your highlights so that you can see what is going on. So we will increase the width. We are selecting too much of this bluish tone, so I don't need that, so that is fine to me. Now I will increase the denoise. Okay, so now what we are left with is the water, but we will try and select the water portion only, and we also need to select the sky as well. You can see here the sky, and here we can see the sky. So what we will do here is that we will create another layer and we will just select the sky here. Okay, and like denoise this a little bit. Okay, so that's it, and we will name this sky. Now let's start with the sky. So you can see here this sky. We will try to match it by looking at our vector scope. To match it properly, what you can do here is that you can shift your image to that side by going to this sizing and then like pan your image so that it corresponds to side by side, and now you can like change the color accordingly. Okay, so what I like to do here is that I want to go and target the light in the HDR tab, and I will push it towards the vector scope. I'm currently watching the vector scope right here, and like yeah, this kind of looks similar. Okay, a bit dark I suppose. Yeah, so and a bit cyan. Okay, so that's it. Like if we turn on and off the sky, you can see we are pretty much there. Yeah, there is somewhat texture right here. We don't have that texture. Our sky is flat, so it won't be exact match. Okay, so we have tried to match it like 90% or so. Now it's time for the water. So for the water, we will go into a qualifier and select the water portion and turn on our highlights, which is at the top. We will increase the width a bit, and you can see it is selecting the sky, but not to worry, because we have already selected the sky in a different layer. So whatever we do it in this layer, it won't matter to the sky. So like we will increase the denoise a bit. Okay, now we will open our image again, and you can see here we are trying to get this crystal water effect. So what we can do here is that again we will look at a vector scope, and I will again like go to the HDR tab and push the light towards that. Okay, you can see here we are already there, but like we need to push the exposure of that light a bit more. Okay, somewhat around here. Okay, so now you can see here these two almost look identical. Now a little bit of adjustment it's needed, like okay, so I think that looks pretty good. At the bottom you can see here there is a different type of bluish tone here. So what we can do here is that you can create another node right here, do another layer. This is something advanced, so like if you don't understand, just replay this portion again. Okay, so here we will name this water 2. Okay, we will put the alpha channel from this water to this one. Okay, so now whatever was selected right here, okay, whatever was selected right here is now getting selected to this node. We will only target the edges. So what we can do here is that we will place ellipse node, and like we'll try to target only the edges. In the highlights you can see this is what is getting selected. Now we just need to invert that, and now you can see it is affecting this portion. We don't need the sky, so what we can do here is that we can take another circle and like place it somewhere around here, like feather it out, and just place this one, just intersect, and you can see only this edges are getting selected. We will turn on the wipe, and now we will try to match these. Okay, again we will go to the HDR tab, and in the light we will try to match it with that blue. We will decrease the exposure a bit. Okay, we need to go to the normal color wheels and then decrease the gain a little bit. Okay, and push the gain towards that bluish tone and decrease this a little bit and increase the light. If you notice something, to get this much amount of blue in this, that will look absolutely absurd, because like this is a different image, this has different type of textures. Okay, our image is completely flat at the edges, so like this portion will not look like that. We can actually do that, but like that won't look nice. You can see here we almost got that color, but it won't look nice. So somewhat like that I will like place it around, roughly around like this, and you can see here that is looking bit good, but not that much. So what we can do here is that like we need to go to the windows and like feather this out even more. Okay, soften this out a little bit. Okay, so that looks good. So now the sky looks a little bit weird, so what we can do here is that we can soften it out a little bit and like denoise it. Okay, that is looking good. So now we will add our vignette. We need to go to the focus node, then create a window around our character and like place it at a certain angle or something like that, and you can increase the softness. And in the vignette tab we just need to reduce the overall brightness so that only the center is focused. I think in the sky, I suppose we can do another thing. You can see like at the top it is a bit dark and at the bottom it is a bit light. So what we can do here is that we can go to this, we can put it somewhat like this, so it falls gradually. You can see here it falls gradually. so it kind of gives you that gradual feel, but you need to place it properly. Like, it shouldn't look too much fake or something like that. Kind of like this looks good enough to me. Like, if you push it further away, that kind of looks good. Now we can also adjust this a little bit. Like, yeah, that's look fine, that looks good. Now in the focus node, what I like to do is that I want to make things look a little bit sharper. So what I do is that I put in this sharpen edges. I will drag and drop it in the focus node and just slightly increase the amount here, slightly. Okay, you can see here what difference is it making. You can see here, not much of a difference, but like it is like popping these water crystals. You can see here the water splashes that is being being popped out. If you see our both images side by side, it kind of looks the same thing here. Which is not looking as like this is that the highlights in the splashes. You can see here we need to match that. So in the for these things, what we can do here, we can go to the adjustment tool and like select the splashes, okay, and just denoise them a little bit and like try to match that. Sorry, increase the highlights a little bit, okay, denoise everything, and like that looks good. Okay, so this kind of looks like edgy. We will try to avoid that by creating a window here, and like I don't want this portion to be like that. So now it kind of looks like this. We need to change the color of the sky a little bit. That looks good enough. And for our character, I suppose bring in some of like that pinkish tone to his skin a little bit, not too much. Okay, it's a slight little bit because it was getting a bit greenish, so we pushed it towards the magenta, so it's kind of neutral now. That looks kind of cool. So if you compare it with our like reference image, it's more or less there. It won't be exactly the same because it is a bit dark on the edges, but in our image you can see here it is like a bit far away, so the edges are not that dark. You can actually like select this that water tool and like decrease this portion, okay, that will give you that feeling, but it creates that gunky green, that dirty green. So you can like push your gamma towards the blue instead of that greenish tone. So you can see here like how much difference it makes to like select the edges and like darken it a little bit. I will denoise this a little bit, select the waters, denoise this a little bit. Okay, so yeah, you can just put in some animation right here. Go to the frame and put a keyframe. This looks good, so I will put a keyframe right here. At this point I will like increase more of this like here, and at the beginning also like I will introduce more of this. Okay, so it will kind of animate, and previously this portion was getting a bit dark, so we fixed that. So this is how you actually do your adjustments in like live projects. Okay, so nobody will teach you like this. This is how actually you fix, animate your windows and stuff, so that like if it works for a single frame, it might not work for frame later on in your video, so you just need to adjust according to your video. That's there. And like you can see our character right here, we can like also animate this box, put a keyframe right here at the beginning also. As he surfs, we will just try to like place it in the center so that this guy is always in the center of that circle. That is how you do a color grade. The last step which is left is the film grain. Okay, so here you can actually put in some effects like halation or something like that. Let me show you. You won't actually get this in the free version. I will reduce the threshold a bit, like basic grain, append grain. I will just blend it a little bit. I don't want it to be that harsh. Okay, so a little bit, it actually like pushes the image a little bit more. You can see here it just opens up your dark areas in your image, and it kind of looks good. Like if you want this, you can actually keep this, but without that also it looks fine. Like with this also it looks fine. So that actually depends on your taste. And now you can put in your film grain. We didn't use our filmlet here, so we don't need that. At the end step, we just need to put in our film grain. We can put in 35mm 400T. If we zoom in here, you can see here we can turn on and off. It is giving that subtle amount of thing. So I will increase the grain size a little bit and increase the textures a little bit more. Okay, so yeah, if I increase the opacity a little bit, grain strength, there is a little bit grain, you can see here if I turn it on and off. So that's it, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you really did, then don't forget to leave a thumbs up. And in the next video, I will be showing you how you can create a different look from the same footage. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can get the notification whenever we upload our next video. So thank you for watching. See you guys in the next video.